It's said to be one of the most environmentally studied projects ever. The Lake Powell Pipeline has been approved by the Utah legislature since 2006. Now in its final stages, the EIS comment period is ending September 8th. Washington County Commissioners publicly endorsed the pipeline because they believe that another major source of water is needed to sustain the area and its population growth into the future.
It is at a kind of a critical stage. The Colorado River and the water rights of the Colorado River are actually run through what's called a Colorado River Compact, and we're having multiple discussions. This right here is asking permission for the right-of-way and to build the pipeline, and so that is going on, and we are having discussions with our neighboring states who have started to throw up objections or concerns, and so we're having those discussions at the same time as we're going forward with the draft EIS.
Most of the pipeline would be constructed underground along a designated utility corridor stretching nearly 140 miles from Lake Powell to Sand Hollow Reservoir. Another long-standing project that commissioners have endorsed, which is also related to future growth, is the construction of a new Northern Corridor. After several public hearings and 6 possibilities that were defined, commissioners are backing an option they feel will have the least impact on both the environment and housing development.
Because it minimizes the impact on the tortoise. It's only 1.9 miles long. We think we can do it with a 300-foot approximate right-of-way. It's going to impact fewer than 300 acres, and maybe as few as 190. We've brought a plan forward to mitigate that with Zone 6 that has nearly 4,000 acres of SITLA land that SITLA is willing to put into the HCP to allow for the corridor, as well as a couple of thousand of BLM acres. And so the mitigation is intense, and I think it is a win for us and a win for the tortoise.
The preferred Northern Corridor option would mostly be built on BLM land connecting Exit 13 from Washington Parkway to Red Cliffs Parkway, where the desert tortoise roam in a portion of the Red Cliffs Desert Reserve. If built, the Northern Corridor is expected to carry as many as 22,000 cars a day in order to clear up traffic in the other intersections.
UDOT tells us that 62 of our intersections will fail unless we get a different alternative besides everything running on St. George Boulevard. And so we've gone through the process of working with the different stakeholders and coming up with what we feel is a great alternative.
Commissioners are hoping for a record of decision by the BLM on the Northern Corridor by the end of this year.
BLM draft environmental impact statement is open for comments. That comment period ends on September 10th. The county, although we've been driving this process, we also want to go on record with the resolution of support for the preferred alternative, and so that we can enter our comment on the record with that resolution.
Commissioners mentioned other positive impacts on the environment by building this new road.
People come here for the clarity of air, the sunshine, and one can only imagine with the California fires recently and how they've, clouded our skies with smoke, that if we're not careful, we'll do the same thing with cars. And we don't want to repeat what they have up north. Mm-hmm. That's one aspect that I think is important to me about the Northern Corridor. Second one is, I've read some of the comments that those who are opposing the corridor have made. And they have said, we don't want houses and commercial development up along this road. There's going to be zero of that. We've agreed that this is merely a road that won't have development in the HCP, and that it's actually going to be an enhanced vision for people who are traveling that road of that beautiful landscape, which is there because it's protected for the tortoise.
A tortoise reserve has also been set aside near Bloomington for possible relocation.
We want to go in there, preserve them, use the biologists and specialists to transplant them and make sure that it's done at the right time in the right manner. And culverts underneath have been shown in the Mojave area to work for the tortoise to get from one side of the road to the other.
If passed, it could take a couple of years to prepare the area for the new road, which would also include a bike route. With a population boasting between 180 to 230,000 at any given time in Washington County, commissioners feel these projects are crucial to planning for the future. Washington County is expected to increase to 500,000 people by the year 2060. In Washington County, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.